Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on the Executive Playbook, where HR meets AI transformation. I am Estelle from CHROs Consulting International, and I will be your moderator for today's conversation. We apologize. We had a technical issue the last round, so many people were unable to join us the last time. Our deepest apologies for that. So today will be a repeat session of what we ran 2 weeks ago. I also want to mention, accordance with the PDPA Act, today's webinar will be recorded for internal and external purposes. I'm excited for today's webinar with Andrew and Zayed. There is a big question that we are hoping to answer today, right, Andrew and Zayed? Is IT the new HR? What are some of the critical things that HR must know in a new AI era? AI isn't a tool that HR now adopts. It is the very environment that HR operates in. And so we're very excited today to have Dr. Andrew Ma and AI IP strategist Syed Hamza, who will explore how leading organizations are embedding AI into the heart of HR. We really hope today's webinar will help HR and transformation leaders to thrive and not just survive, to lead and not just react in this AI era. Andrew and Zayed, we dare even say that HR is not just being disrupted, but we are leading HR is leading the disruption. So we are excited, to share a little bit more insights around this. And we look forward to kicking off very, very shortly. Dr. Andrew Ma has deep expertise and passion at the intersection of technology, strategy, and people. And he's a leadership strategist and AI transformation expert who advises top organizations in the region on building AI-ready teams and cultures. He leads regional leadership consulting firm CHROs Consulting International and Steam Building, which offers interactive tech-based team building experiences and tech trainings for non-tech individuals. Our co-lead for today's webinar is Syed Hamza, an AI data strategist in Singapore, an AI patent holder, and he is an executive education fellow at the NUS School of Computing. Zayed draws from 38 years of experience and tech law backgrounds and roles across Microsoft, Singtel, and Telecom Malaysia. And he helps organizations perform better through AI enablement as well. So without further ado, I am going to hand the time over to Andrew. We'll keep this webinar fast-paced and practical, about 45 minutes long, and we hope that this will be helpful and insightful for where you're at. Andrew, over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I think because looking at the registration list, we have some global attendees. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And thank you for Syed for, again, to co-host this webinar session. Syed and I met 3 months ago. We have some coffee together, and just that short exchange, we feel that we are very in sync in carrying out one key message for the HR and business leaders today in the AI era. I think we need to be even more human-centric rather than just looking at all the technology, all the LLM, all the infrastructure. The more the technology, the better, the more we need to focus on human-centric strategy. So today, we're going to co-share some of our experience and some of our perspective so that we can have a very fruitful sharing today. So I guess everybody able to see my share screen, right? Okay, all right. So because I've been in the technology industry for 30 years. I started off in Ottawa, in a very cold place in North America. My first job was to crank 1,000 modem into a server and sell it to like Singtel, PCCW in Hong Kong, and the world to get people online through the telephone line. I guess some people was scratching their head. Telephone line? We just go online using a mobile device. We don't know wire. And if you are old enough, you know that when we need to go online, we need to use the telephone wire, and then like ding, 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 2 minutes before we can go onto the narrowband. That's called Web 1.0. And since then, the technology has been very, very fast-paced. But the hockey stick really happened in 2022-23 when ChatGPT 3.5 come on board. And since then, we are entering into the double exponential growth phase. And I think all of you here have been using ChatGPT to summarize document and to do different things. And from text to text, text to voice, text to video, and then you can even fine tune or train your own chatbot for your own knowledge base. But I think this year, 2025, everybody's talking about AI agent. So the autonomous agent, and everybody's saying that, oh, will that replace my job? People start to feel scared. And at the same time, all the news are coming to say, oh, a lot of tech companies are laying off and things like that. So there's a lot of noise. But what is a signal? But before we all go into that, let's look at two interesting news that we all can share first. Okay, of course, if you pay attention to the news, NVIDIA just become the first company that hit $4 trillion US market capitalization. That is the first ever company, faster. It's not Apple, it's not Microsoft, it's NVIDIA that did that. Okay, they just did that just last night, I think. So Jensen Huang, a few months ago, he shared something like that.
The IT department of every company is going to be the HR department of AI agents in the future. Today, they manage and maintain a bunch of software from the IT industry. In the future, they'll maintain, nurture, onboard, and improve a whole bunch of digital agents and provision them to the companies to use. Okay, and so your IT department is going to become kind of like AI agent HR.
Wow, so it's a very thought-provoking statement. Okay, but just after his speech, let me share the other screen. Okay, back to here. Okay, that's another news coming out that Moderna, if you pay attention to the vaccine shot just a few years ago, the COVID period, Moderna is the company who produced a lot of vaccine. They announced they merged the IT department and the HR department together. Okay, so that seems to be what Jensen Huang is kind of predicting, and actually now people seems to be doing that. Syed, when you see that two news, what do you think? What was your first impression? Is this gonna be the permanent trend or is this a transient?
In my view, right, these signals, right, shared by top global leaders represents the future trend. And I think the deeper we go into the future in terms of the integration of IT or tech and HR, I think the more HR professionals need to get themselves ready. So I think it's a key trend that is taking place, and we need to be future ready for this converged space of IT and HR.
Yeah, so that convergence is definitely happening. But the convergence doesn't mean replacement. The convergence mean we need both the hard skill and the soft skill together to drive the transformation. Let's move on first, and of course I will invite Syed to share a little bit more insight along the way. So also some more news. IBM laid off 8,000 people. They announced, and particularly hit hard was the HR department. So it was very interesting to see that was the strategy. But later on, I'll tell you, actually, there is another episode of that story too. Okay, and of course, you in Singapore. I think some participant today is from DBS or from Singapore. DBS announced about 4,000 jobs cut as AI takes over key tasks. And in Hong Kong, some of you are from here in Hong Kong, where I'm living, and Hang Seng Bank also laid off some key people. And of course, the media portrayed that it was the AI that are replacing jobs. Okay, so that seems to be what we are heading It's just the AI replacement or AI agents replacing human jobs. That may not be, but when we dig deeper, is it true? Just hold on that thought first, okay? Just looking at the big picture, that was just a end of 2024 survey and see what are the departments that are driving, that are really is the adopters of AI use case. And we see, of course, IT. I think many companies that I help, the IT departments usually is the first one to use GitHub Copilot, Lovable, and all this Cursor to help them to write codes. Okay, so that's a low-hanging fruit. But now it's permeate to other departments, logistics, finance, human resources, kind of in the middle. Okay, it's just in the middle. But in 2003, almost nothing. And then from boom, 2024, 24%. And I will expect we are kind of in the middle of 2025. And I've been working with many HR in Asia. And I think the HR is now really starting to pick up to accelerate the adoption of AI. So that's a good sign, but still, I think the pace will need to be accelerated a bit further as well. And more statistics showing that the adoption rate of HR is moving from experiment to essential in 2025. About 72% adoption rate, 63% they see using AI has improved productivity gain, and they see wisely using AI can have 55 up to about 55% of administration expense reduction. So these are all good, really good signs. Okay. Yet, reality check. Everybody talking about AI agent, but is AI agent now ready to replace human labor? A professor just did a very interesting study. They just use an AI agent, multi-agents. That's the hottest topic. They're using MCP and all this kind of stuff just to run a fake company. And what was the result? And they find out that it was disastrous. Okay, they even have a simulated coworker like a HR department and CTO. They just use an agent, AI agent, to simulate the work, and it was disastrous. Okay, so the result, the company actually went bankrupt just in a few days. Okay, and it didn't actually work. Okay, the other thing is IBM. I was quoting IBM early on. They laid off 8,000 people, but they rehire more people afterwards. Okay, it's just announced that they find out that it's not really a job reduction. It's really a job shift. And HR need to play a key role to have to transform the workforce so that they are more ready to embrace AI, particularly AI agent in their workforce. And all the studies saying that AI agent, as powerful as it is, as progressing and such a big fast pace, is still not yet ready to replace human. We still need human in the loop, human on the loop, to really work with agents together to drive all the cost reduction and productivity gain. And today, the topic is called Playbook. Everybody wants to say, okay, what is the step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 that we need to follow so that we could all transform the company and things like that. Yes, in the past few months, I've read through all this playbook. Okay, there are so many playbooks. Deloitte have a playbook, Microsoft have a playbook, Google have a playbook. Everybody seems to be cranking out a playbook, including us. We will send you our version of a playbook. But when I've gone through all the playbook in the past few months, I find one more important stuff is we need to start with the right mindset first. Okay, it's not the step by step. It's really about whether the leaders, particularly the HR leaders, need to have the right mindset. As I alluded earlier on, with all the news coming in, or AI agent coming in, and Microsoft are laying off people, IBM laying off people, it seems to be getting a false expectation that AI will replace human. As a technologist, I really impressed by the double exponential growth of the technology, but I still firmly believe we need to have the positive sum game mentality. What's the difference? Zero sum game is you have like 1,000 people in your company. What is my strategy to replace 100 first in the first year, 200 in the second year, 300 in the third year? Then ultimately we have reduced the workforce. Okay, that is the zero sum game mentality. If we have that zero sum game mentality, we started it all wrong. All the playbook won't help you, because the key thing is about investing in people. It's a positive sum game mentality. Put in the resource to upskill them, let them have the right change management skill to drive AI transformation, so that at the end of the day, human and AI agent can work seamlessly together to help the organization to make the pie bigger. Okay, it's not a zero-sum game where you have 1,000 people, you introduce 200 agents, replace 200 people. It's about investing in your 1,000 people workforce, give them enough chance to upskill them. Of course, some people may not be able to embrace the change, and you still need to make that hard choices. But before you make the hard choices, we need to give the people chances to upskill and to embrace AI agent into their workflow. Of course, with the right mindset, this is usually my very simple playbook. Phase one, strategic alignment. We have both the top-down and bottoms-up alignment. It's not just top-down. We cannot just have the CEO going through all the strategy. We also need to remove the fear of the people, letting them have a chance to bubble up new AI use case. And when the two meets, then there may be 10, 15, 20 use cases. Then you need to prioritize them, looking at how easy is implementing, what is the impact, and what's the alignment. And then maybe you choose out of the 15 AI use case, just choose 5, 6, 7, and you really put in a task force, put in the money, and try to do some experiment together, get very agile, get feedback, review, and revise. That's a simple playbook, but you need to have the right mindset first, okay? And we need to align the 3P, the people, process, and platform. And while we're aligning these three together, we need to put in the governance in the right place, okay? And governance, to be honest with you, I'm not the expert, but we have an expert Syed here today to talk about the foundation of governance and some examples that he will help us to go through. Syed, over to you.
So before you show my slides, just keep your slides first, Andrew. I just want to reiterate a couple of points to the audience, right? Today we are truly at an inflection point, right? But the key message that I like to share with everyone is AI, whether generative AI or agentic AI framework, they're not going to replace HR professionals. But HR professionals who have IT skills, AI agentic skills, and understand how machine learning works will replace other HR professional, right? Without the knowledge and the skill. So you've got to really look at it from a different lens, right? So if I can reiterate, the most important trend that we are seeing is AI tools are becoming increasingly easier to use. The cost is getting lower. It's becoming more mainstream. So the challenge for HR professional is to decide at your corporate level, right? At your individual level, how do I move up the value chain? And you'll be surprised that both Andrew and I are of the view that in this age where machine become even more intelligent, we actually have to use you have to enhance your soft skills even more, right? So mastery of soft AI skills, in our view, is going to be very critical in terms of determining the future direction of HR. It is already AI driven. In future, it's going to be a more agentic AI driven, but it's just a tool. Yeah, it's just a tool. So HR professionals need to bear in mind that typically there are three categories of users, right? First, you have the AI user. Second, you have the AI developer, the techies, right, which HR professionals are usually not involved. Then the last category is what we call AI designer. Now, for the HR team, what you really need to look at is with these changes that are quite real, right? The integration of IT, and agentic AI framework and generative AI in a context, the role of the HR professionally have now evolved to one where you have to become an AI designer. So the HR of the future must focus on how to design framework processes in order to move up the value chain. And one of the critical requirement is governance. So if I can share with you the one slide, the next slide. This is a slide that I typically use in my program, and it represents one of the best slides that captures the critical importance of AI governance. If you imagine this to be a clock, just focus on 12 o'clock as well as 10 o'clock. The rest of the other components, right, are important, but they're not critical. Now, as HR professional involved in this space, right, you're not going to be the one to ensure that the algorithm is explainable, the algorithm is transparent, that there is you can't do that unless you're a techie, right? So the role of the HR professionals is to work with the management team, the development team, of course, legal and compliance, to ensure that the practice, right, the practices of the company when you design, develop solution takes into account fundamental principle. Okay, let me show you one example from Amazon. In this Amazon case study, yeah, Amazon case study, there, yeah, if you can, yeah, okay, that's correct. Okay, there was problem in relation to the development of the algorithm, which inadvertently penalized women, right? So did they intend to deliberately penalize women? The answer is no. But there was a problem in relation to the development, the design development of the algorithm that underlies the recruitment tool that led to a bias. Now, in the next example, I'll show you another a real life case study. So this is a case of a company called Higher View, where there were problems in relation to the interpretation of the candidate's facial movement and tone. But the problem was that the candidates couldn't challenge the score because the AI logic was proprietary. Now, so you see the fundamental problem that HR professionals are facing, right? If you use increasingly AI-enabled tool, AI agentic tool, you wouldn't have a sense of how to control and manage the algorithm that underpins it. So the role of HR is really to be able to ask the right question, to be able to guide, right, the developers, designers, and the testing. Of course, the collection of data is the most important thing, right? You must collect the right data of the right quality. It must be able to withstand scrutiny. But more importantly, it has to be tested, right? So the role of HR team ultimately, right, it's more about being able to ask the right question to ensure that the governance guardrails are put in place. So separately, you may wish to contact Andrew and myself separately. I have a separate playbook with all the templates, right, running to thousands of thousands of pages that the Singapore government has put in place. So with that, Andrew, over to you. Thanks. Andrew, you're muted. Sorry, Andrew. Andrew, you're muted. Okay,
I,
go ahead.
I think what Sai said is very fundamental. Asking the right question. As a governance seems to be all sorts of rules and things like that. But I think he pinpointed one thing, asking the right questions. In fact, AI is very built to respond to your questions, but it is not built to ask the right questions. And only human with enough technical skill. I'm not saying that every HR needs to go through a 4-year computer science degree, but you need to know enough so that you can ask and leverage your HR experience to ask the right questions. And some asking the right questions are common sense questions. What's the impact to the emotions of people when they have a monitoring 24 hours? Would they feel fear? Would they feel empowered? Those are common sense questions from HR perspective, but AI lacks common sense. Okay. And it's only human that have the courage and have the common sense to ask the right questions. To challenge is not the latest and greatest AI software or the MCP or the A2A or the acronyms that are coming with the latest technology that matters. Is how the technology impact your team and impact your client. That are the most fundamental questions. And unfortunately, even with the double exponential growth of AI, I don't see at least I don't see in the next 5-10 years, AI will develop the right common sense to ask the challenging questions. Okay, it's only up to us as human to do that. Okay, I think Syed, you agree? You agree with that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so the key thing, right, is when HR professionals relook at your future, you
Mm.
really need to focus on the management skills so that you can better put in place the guardrail. And
Mm.
more importantly, right, you would be able to create greater value if you understand how you can leverage agentic AI fully as a tool for automation, efficiency, and productivity. So at the end of the day, the role of the HR team will remain the same. You have to invest in people. And our take is you really need to start with investing in soft AI skill. And this new emerging space is increasingly called uh, human AI interaction. That's also another space that HR professionals should look into.
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, you understand your brain, how brain works, and learn, you will have some idea of how AI works as well. So in fact, Syed, thanks for pointing it out. In fact, one of my partner called Nadini, and we have a privilege to work with her for the last webinar. We are planning actively to come up with a course that is the intersection of neuroscience and AI. So that is very human centric. And the more you understand how our brain works, you will also understand how AI works. And you know also the strength and weakness. And so please stay tuned, where that will be coming out very shortly. So all of said, oh, that's good, but have you actually really done it? Okay. And in the past 3 years, we have been working with banks in Hong Kong, logistics company in Singapore, and help them going through the AI transformation. So let me just give you one example. One of the largest local bank in Hong Kong, I think we got the approval to say who they are as a Bank of East Asia. We have been helping them since 2021. It's mindset first. So we started off when we starting to help them out. They say, oh, they want to accelerate the digital transformation and things like that. But when we talk to different leaders and work with close HR, we need the mindset first. Okay, it's not about going right into the technology and things like that. That comes later. So we basically run about 20 classes in 2021 during COVID and right after COVID to train all the middle managers how to embrace growth mindset, both themselves and how to empower the team with growth mindset, and how to actually drive changes and things like that. Then we have a series of different Fintech 101, microlearning, generative AI for HR and L&D, different hands-on and both online and offline program with them. Then in 2023 and 24, we run different hackathons. Some themes are ESG focused, some themes are cross-border focused, but we help them to wisely integrate AI thinking and design thinking into the program so that they can have more bottoms-up innovation. And they present the result to the GM level, to the deputy CEO level. Some of the good use cases, how do you actually use AI for ESG? How do they use AI for cross-border new product design, things like that? We enable the middle managers and working with the working level to come up with new use case and present to their management with very good result. And this year we focus mainly to help them with agility because now they have all the ideas. They need the agile development mindset to put all this new use case into the product and new service, new workflow to impact the business. So it's a multi-year transformation process, and we've been working with them since 5 years ago to help them to go through the digital and AI transformation. Another case study that we proudly to share is one of the leading logistics company called ST Logistics. If people in Singapore, you know that it is one of the key logistics companies serving a lot of the government, but they also want to diversify into serving more into the commercial business world. But when 3 years ago, in 2023, when we start working with them, the top management saying that, oh, with that, but that's definitely need to put in more AI into our operation to automate things, to save costs and things like that. And so we have a top-down endorsement, but when we work with them, we know that we need to have a multi-year strategy. So in 2023, we started off with the program with AI thinking and design thinking workshop, enable the high pro and with the key staff, about 50 of them, to go through the program so that they, at the end of the program, able to come up with some new AI use cases, the bottom-up strategy that we talk about, and present them to all the CEOs and CXO and the CFO and the CTOs and things like that. So then they were impressed by a few potential use case that can definitely save money and have more upside of the revenue potential. And the CEO was so pleased that they asked us to come back again in 2024 in the leadership offsite in Sentosa. And so we work with Ivy Business School of Business. We bring in the professor to have, first of all, talk about the culture change in the morning. How do actually they create them from a more hierarchical into more empowerment, that culture. And in the afternoon, we let all the CEOs, CTOs, and the top management to play with AI, to have a fun exercise of a team building. So because what we know is we cannot just talk about AI. We need them to experience AI and play with AI and all sorts of level, especially top level people. They need to know that it's not the staff job to learn AI and put it into their workplace. It's the CEO, the CTO that they need to role model it. So it was a success. And then we go back again in just a few months ago. We actually helped them to have a boot camp of AI agent development. And all the CXO mandatory. We would highly recommend them to attend the boot camp. And then they work, the CEO, the CTO, and all, we pair them up with a very smart, what they call citizen developer. So after we train them with AI agent, the concept, they work in 1 month and come up with a prototype of AI agent in HR, in finance, in sales, in marketing, in operation, and in just in February 2025, Estelle and I, along with my colleagues, we were very pleased because all they just present. It's not the citizen developer present. It's the CTO present. It's the CFO present. It's the chief CHRO present. What AI agent that they come up with to help them to save costs or to help them to increase revenue. So this picture is the HR lady, the chief HR officer, and she worked very intensively in the past month with the citizen developer to come up with what they call, I think it's called Skill Sage. It's an AI agent to help them to roll out training services to their team, not just bothering them to have manual process. It's all automated with AI agent. Sai, you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, so I was just gonna share a little bit of a further insight, right? So as Andrew was walking through all these case study, what I like our audience to be aware of, right? When you're involved in an AI project, there are essentially three things that you need to be aware of, right? First, you require high quality data. Second, you must have the right algorithm. Then third, you need to have the sound infrastructure, right? Everything from software, computing resources, and so on, cloud, services, and so on and so forth. But I want to emphasize one thing. When you, as HR professionals, are involved in your organizational transformation, always remember that your single biggest asset is actually your know-how and your ability to actually make sense of your own proprietary data. Now, at the end of the day, technology can only do so much, right? And I can't overemphasize this again, right? Which AI transformation, AI enablement, the use of AI in for HR is not a technology issue. Ultimately, it's more a people issue rather than a technology issue. However, now that you know that the fundamentals of a successful AI transformation requires, among others, data, algorithm, and of course, you need the infrastructure. HR professional can actually be in greater control of the project because you control your proprietary data. So proprietary data in your context as HR professionals mean, right, that you understand the behavior of your employee, you understand their career trajectory, you've understood the skills gap that exists within your organization. And mind you, your knowledge, your experience, and your know-how over such organizational proprietary data is far more important than all these AI agent and different types of algorithms. So do remember that the role of HR professional is to ask the right question, but you need to understand enough of the technology. You do not need to be a programmer, but you need to understand enough of the technology to be able to ask the right question. So moving forward, do bear in mind that once HR professionals are in better control of their own proprietary data, that is where the development of custom AI model comes in, right? So it's a bit technical, yeah, but at the end of the day, you want to develop a system that is robust, resilient, repeatable, and most importantly, right, it must help your organization move up the value chain in order for you to create greater value. So to sum up, right, HR professionals have a key role to ensure that in the journey that you take, right, from the time you start to think, start to design, HR professionals play in my view, not just a critical role, but they actually play a strategic role to transform the entire organization to the next level. But you still need to have some sufficient, you need to have some basic knowledge. And that's where engineers like Andrew would be able to educate you, right? Because if you know nothing about technology, you won't be able to ask the right question anyhow.
Yeah, I think that's a very key success factor. Asking the right question is the first one. Know enough AI skills. So, and you not need to be programmer. All this example, most of them are not programmers. Even the lady up on the stage, the first thing she said, "I'm not a programmer," but I was able to do that because I just gained enough skill so that I can ask the right questions and know what data that I need to put into the AI to train them. Because right now we are moving from general chatbot to specialized per department chatbot. It can be a legal chatbot, it can be an HR chatbot. You can put in the right knowledge to build that customized chatbot for you to, or not even just chatbot, a customized AI agent to specifically help on the sales process, HR process, and finance process. And to be surprised, and they all saying that I was so nervous in the beginning of the boot camp, but I heard some very good talked to a few participants in asset logistics. They said, hey, it's not that hard. And we were so pleased at the end of the last part of the showcase. CEO of asset logistics called Mr. Logan. Okay, he said one more thing, like Steve Jobs. He said one more thing. Let me show you. I'm not just a judge of your use case. I myself, with the help of an citizen age developer, I myself create an agent that helped my pain point, and he just show it at the end of the presentation, and so everybody was amazed because like nobody expect a CEO himself role model that even a CEO as busy as a CEO and has no tech background, he was able to create an AI agent and show it to everybody. So the role modeling is what HR need to motivate people, different people, different level that can just, if they have the growth mindset, go and experiment it and show it and show some of the positive result. And maybe that is the driving force to nudge your company to move forward with the AI transformation. Because of time, I maybe just quickly summarize some of the recommendations for HR leaders. Just spend some time upskill your HR team. You could not be the bottleneck. Although say, I'm HR, I'm not IT. But please, you need to role model. If they say, oh, HR can build an AI agent, nobody have any excuse not to build an AI agent anymore. So role modeling it, of course, as what Asai implement ethical governance, starting by asking the right questions. Okay. And then enhance the collaboration with IT and other BU and functions, build a more collaborative culture. Silo culture will never be able to drive AI transformation successfully and maintain common sense, human-centric principles. Syed, you want to add something to this recommendation?
Yeah, just as a parting shot, right? Just remember that the role of HR professionals really have to focus ultimately on value creation, right? You're managing people to create value, to ensure that the employee's journey and experience, right, is fully enhanced. So as you develop your own journey, I like you to think about it along two timeline, right? First, HR professionals must educate themselves, upskill, reskill, in order to be better prepared for your new role. This is about shortening the time to competency. But more importantly, HR professionals, like all other C-suite, right, within the organization, you really have to ultimately focus on time to value. And for any organization that wants to move up the value chain, be in the controlling seat, right? You really have to figure out what's your ultimate value contributor.
Great summary. I cannot say it better. Thanks for the wonderful summary. Okay, so before we adjourn, I just want to give some special gifts to those people who attended the webinar. I myself will be co-host a 2-day deep dive program with Richard Ivey School of Business in Hong Kong in August called Harnessing AI for Competitive Advantage. I just have a call with Professor Ning last night, and he was in Canada, and he will be flying to Hong Kong and to co-host this together. So we have a special discount of 15% for those people who love to attend this deep dive. So please PM me in LinkedIn if you want to get the special discount code. Another opportunity is the ELC 2025 Eagles Leadership Conference. This year, they are moving from Singapore to KL. I love KL. I love the food over there. I was just there a few months ago. And we will also have a wonderful chance to have different speakers to speak in. Actually, AI will be one of the key topics for this leadership conference. And we will have some special discount as well for early bird and group discount for overseas people who want to go there. So PM me again if you want to get more information about the ELC conference. We talk about 1,000 people to come all over Asia as well. So this is it for my presentation. And thank you again for Syed and thank you for his wonderful insights. I pass the time to Estelle.
Wow. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Zayed. It is truly, honestly, a very valuable conversation with lots of industry insights, and I hope everyone at the webinar was really, really, really benefited from it. Some of my key insights were, that Zayed, you mentioned that people are the top of the pyramid, right? And we need to have people at the top to manage and lead AI transformation, but ultimately, it is still a people-centric strategy augmented by AI. Zayed and Andrew has mentioned we don't need to be an AI programmer. Actually, we need to be an AI designer, and it's truly a focus on soft skills rather than hard infrastructure when you're also thinking about AI. One of the key insights I really resonated with the most was, Andrew, you mentioned it's not about step by step, it's about mindset, right? So it's really about the HR and even the organizations having a positive sum game, right? How can we use AI not to replace people, but how can we use the best of human talent and the best of technology, right, together? So thank you, everyone. If you have further questions or if your organization is looking to explore AI transformation at any level of the company, or if you'd like to upskill your literacy with AI as HR, we have some programs running up. So feel free to drop Andrew a direct message